Before I get into this donation story, something happened yesterday that once again demonstrates the effectiveness of these outsider candidates. And that is this. Ben Carson and Donald Trump both told CNBC to pound sand if they didn't reduce that debate to 2 hours. The next Republican debate's on CNBC, and it was scheduled for 3 hours. And Trump and Carson, screw you. We're not showing up. And if we don't show up, you don't have a show. 3 hours is too long, 2 hours max. CNBC thought about it, and they acquiesced. What happened was that Carson and Trump campaign sent a joint letter yesterday afternoon to CNBC. So it had the official appearance. It was just a couple of phone calls. It was a joint letter warning they would not participate in the debate on October 28th in Boulder, Colorado, unless it lasts no longer than 2 hours and includes both opening and closing statements by the candidates. Both opening and closing statements have to be fit within the 2-hour window. Trump's campaign manager told the New York Times the criteria that was outlined by CNBC was never discussed with any of the candidates or with the campaigns. So what CNBC did was send out a memo and said, here's the criteria as you have approved them, and then went out to all the campaigns. We said, wait a minute, we never saw this. We never agreed to it. And now another light shines on the Republican Party. They agree to these debates with places like CNN and NBC, CNBC, and then they determine the format. They tell the RNC what the format's going to be, and the RNC says, oh, okay, and shows up. And Trump and Carson said, wait a second, we never saw this. We never approved this. They thought the RNC had approved it. Nobody did. They just let CNBC write the format, structure the format, without anybody having seen it. Now, Carly Fiorina, when she heard about this, she said, what are these two guys afraid of me? You know, what this means is that Trump and Carson both are admitting they don't have the stamina to go up against me for 3 hours, which is good. I like that. I like both sides of this. Meanwhile, over here, the RNC, just non-factors. It's amazing. No, Eddie told me they weren't going to deliver them because the suite number wasn't on there. He told me that's why I had to send him out there to get them, and he did it. Someday. Maybe I should write about it, but folks, I'm through whining here. It's been just one of these really, really frustrating days. And if I hadn't mentioned it to you, you probably would never know it because of the strength of my professionalism. I just felt like whining today. I normally don't. This is Daniel, my adopted hometown, Sacramento. Great to have you on the program, sir. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
And yes, I'm actually from Albuquerque, but nonetheless, the big issue I was talking about was during the next debates for the Republican candidates, we need to forget the RNC, and the Republican candidates must control the debate narrative. They must submit the questions they will discuss in advance and let the moderators, so to speak, give out the questions at will.
Well, the only way you could do that is if you did your own debate, which I can see. Look, when the point is to get your message out, control it. Understand that. But they've agreed to appear on CNBC, and I don't care what. CNBC is not going to let the candidates determine the questions they are asked. Now, in case you missed it, Trump and Carson sent a letter to CNBC, joint campaign letter, say, if this thing goes 3 hours, we're not showing up and you're not going to have an audience. So CNBC said, okay. We reduced it to 2 hours. 2-hour debate. It's October 28th. This includes the opening and closing statements, too. And Trump and Carson made that happen. So they have exerted some control over the debate. Look, I get what you're coming from. You know, CNN, CNBC. I mean, what's the point? But they're agreeing to it, and that's that. Can't change it now.